The player characters enter the city, and the guards barely look at them as they usher the PCs and all the visitors through. Everyone there in regalia, faces painted, talking about their greatest competitors, and the player characters are like, the adventurers, what's going on? What's happening? But they hear this great noise, a rush, as all the people from the great lands flock into this place. The PCs come to the center of town, and there's a great gladiatorial arena. Even the guards themselves are barely paying attention to their own job because they're placing bets on who's going to be the greatest. And when they look down into the gladiatorial arena, there's something arcane and mystical. They're looking down at a winter wonderland, despite the warmth that they feel, with everyone underdressed in the arena, screaming and yelling out for their greatest competitors, because the inside of the arena itself can create any environment. And down there, they see people like themselves using magic and shape changing and great warriors and such, and they realize maybe this is a place where adventurers like themselves could make some money, garner some attention. And of course, some passersby, even some NPCs, look upon the adventurers and ask if they want to participate. And then starts their great career as a gladiatorial arena. Yes, today is the day of gladiators, and we're going to talk all about it, from combat within the arena to, some great story elements we can tell on the outside. So anyway, right after the intro, let's get into it. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and of course, everyone participating live on the show are co-hosts who make me look really good, because I can be pretty much of a dumbass sometimes. But listen, today we're going to talk about the Day of the Gladiator, and of course, we have ourselves our classic gladiator imagery here, the thumbnail. Washboard abs. Are you not entertained and everything? Of course, this has to do with fantasy and world building, and there's some great aspects we can pull from this. Of course, we can have an excuse for any and all kinds of dice rolling and combat we want to have. As I mentioned at the top of the video, if you have an arena and then you can make any environment you want, you can have our player characters fight against competitors like themselves, strange monsters, great environments. And using the day of prompt, you can introduce this. And if it doesn't work out, or it's a little complicated or something, I mean, hell, you could even have a gladiatorial arena in an arcane dome where they're fighting underwater or in boats or chariots or whatever, and kind of, pull those rules out that everyone kind of like sidesteps, because the grappling rules, the underwater rules, the environmental rules, traps, and all those kind of things might be a little complicated or not used to it. Great opportunity to throw it in there, use it, see how everybody feels about it. If you don't like it, no big deal. It's only the day of, right? You get away with it. I do like do like what Hunt has to say here. This is how we could solve everything. Reinstatement of gladiatorial combat. Yep. No more sports ball. No more overcrowded prisons. Hell, you could even have, hey, it could be the downfall of the mouthpiece politician, right? Hey, you got to put you better put your money where your mouth is, right? There's even the Black Panther Wakanda cultural idea of, not only do you have to be superior with your own group or your own faction, but you also need to be physically superior as well. So I know there's been some people who are just like, how could a country be controlled by gladiatorial combat? They got to prove themselves first to be a leader amongst their own people, and then prove themselves physically. Could you imagine the politicians are like, oh yeah, to get this law passed, you're gonna have to like like have some like MMA battle or something like that? It would be pretty fun. Well, mind you, I'm sure there would be ringers and things like that. But yeah, there's even the old '80s horrible, horribly deficient movie which actually had a plot better than it deserved. Was It was called Robo Jocks, and it was about robot fighting in the arena. And they stopped world wars by having people fight in giant robots, and you'd have one country bring their best giant robot fighters and the other robot, and they'd fight and stuff like that. Yeah. Bards and gladiatorial combat. We'll do some battle of the bands. Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! And who's to say what the competition is? It doesn't need to be swords to the death, drawn first blood. It could be a battle for anything. It could be a battle for ideas. Um, uh, the classic. Um, Greek or Roman Socrates speaking amongst the people to convince them of the idea, talking about philosophy and government and that kind of thing. It could easily be that if you want it to be. Yep. Yeah, Drew's like the champion arena also made it. Yeah. Hell well met. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so um, when he said, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is the first time I've heard of Robo Jocks." I think it's Robo Jocks with an X, and don't your feelings might get hurt because it's a pretty low budget. I think they used to make the robots. I think they had it was done like the old Godzilla movies where they just had human beings in squared off pieces of cardboard, spray painted to look like robots and such. Yeah, I mean, I think they even recruited kids. Like some of the pilots were even illiterate because they were only being raised. Yeah, it's yep. It's Robo, and then JOX, separate word. Yep. And yeah, fun movie. And again, it had a plot more intricate than it deserved to be because it's giant robots fighting. Like really? Oh, that's cool. There, heathen. So the what I love for a prompt about the Day of the Gladiator, which I'm surprised I didn't pick this earlier, but I now I know why I didn't do this. Is like one of the first things in the first week, is because everything we love, and most importantly, everything we hate about the entertainment industry, Hollywood, the whole from the most despicable business-minded bean counting, um, rich ass, all the money and attention in the world, to the other end of the spectrum, which is the exact same thing of people who are attention grabbing, um, um, artisanal individuals who want nothing more than to have garner the following of millions of people, and will do and say anything to ensure that their reputation and their appearance and the people who fake love them and adore them and stroke their egos, and that mismatch altogether is a great frothy mix of nasty storytelling. For example, player characters. Let's place this outside the player characters, but I guarantee you, your player characters will want to get into it. So maybe the player characters have to train or protect or coach or get a particular combatant to an arena, and there's nothing but sycophants and fans and uh, um, uh, loved ones, people they've betted that have been pushed aside. Plus, there's all the drama of people that they owe money to and contractually, and then of course all the illegal betting on the outside, and the individuals that want to throw a battle and manipulate the battle, and who do they go against is also who's on the card. The two competitors going head to head. Does the person take a dive and get paid to do so? Are they intimidated or threatened about where they should or shouldn't take a dive? And are they any good at battling in the first place? And of course, player characters would absolutely positively want to be in that position, or they get volunteered into that position as well. Yeah. One I even says it sounds like it's on the level of Death Race 2000 talking about Drobo jocks. Oh, it's on that level. Yeah, yeah, it's on that level. Mm-mm-mm. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius. Yeah. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. That what a classic movie. I mean, that was well before we 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 found out Russell Crowe liked to smash people with phones. Yeah, but an excellent movie, and that the entertainment. I mean, if you think about it, here you have this character who never wanted to get that attention, but in order to manipulate the environment, this person had to garner the attention and the popularity, uses popularity for the masses to get them to change, so that the leadership, the nobles, the rich merchants, the influential and powerful, snatch that power out of their hands. I mean, it might be important for the player characters. They're like, listen, that we can speak in front of them for hours. It's not going to work. But if we prove to them that, I don't know, they need to send reinforcements because the other five kingdoms are losing the battle against, I don't know, the Tarask herder or something like that, or there's the the more influence the players have, the greater chance they can depose some of the evil elements that are in the government, that the PCs, they don't even know who they are, but we just need to change the way the people think. And if we can change that, they themselves will hunt out the evil element that the coven of hags, who are shape changers and mind manipulators and such. And we need to pop the people's population and their energy or something. Or maybe the player characters just like to have their ego stroked. um, and take advantage of the fact that there are people who would dare I say give up their soul uh, to be that popular. Yeah, and King says the entertainment industry is vexing. I'm terribly vexed. Let's not pretend the entertainment industry is some otherworldly influence that no one would be. Listen, if you were surrounded by people who are always telling you how great you are, beautiful, intelligent, who are yes people, and you're given lots of money to basically be you, let's not pretend that you wouldn't be tempted. let's listen. I can say on the outside of being a poor ass individual who's short and pudgy and not very, I don't have the looks or the voice or all that stuff. I don't have any of that talent. And someone puts me on stage and I start singing and dancing. I, I'm physically adept at doing a thing, and all of a sudden, like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars of cash starts falling into my lap, I'm all uh, someone who always seems to be more enchanting than the next wants to like grab at my clothing and pull it off because they want to be with me. Yeah, that's too much tempt. That's nine hells tempt. That's Asmodeus level tempting. Yeah. Drew says, I think today more about Lord of Thunder and his line when he joins to meet Hulk. I know him from his work. Yes, I know him from work. Yeah, and then got his ass kicked. But but pretty fun, right? That would be pretty hilarious. The PCs are in the arena, and it's like there's like trolls and ogres and stuff, and they all stop and go. You're like, hey, I know you from work. Everybody giving each other fist bumps and stuff. Just don't cross Marcellus Wallace. Yeah, I'm going to get medieval on that ass. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, meanwhile, the actors performed it all with their best efforts, played it all straight. Yes, yes, yes. I'm up. Death Race 2000. Mm-mm-mm. Bad effects, weird plot, and all around terribleness. Yeah, RoboJocks is the same way. It's the same way. You'll love it. Yeah. Mm. And King says, every time I make a character, I need to be convinced to not make literal Maximus. Yeah. And there's something cool about that, right? Like, of course, the player characters are not going to be instantly influenced by all the all the glitz and the glamour, but like taking that glitz and glamour and turning it up. I mean, how many now that I think about it, we'd often sometimes we are um we have a hard time finding motivations for our bad guys. And being a uh, the only way I can put this is to be a Hollywood starlet, to be someone who is both popular and influential and rich, and with the wave of their hand can cause um you know, an entire population to swoon over you and such. That's a goal all unto itself for a bad guy, right? And how interesting would that be for any number of bad guys, from I don't know, from vampire lords to wizards to just great warriors or something, to have people just you know, want to suck their toes and give them gifts just because they exist and whatnot. And how to mix and match that in like a gladiatorial style of arena. I mean, you would have to they're great warriors is not just being a great warrior isn't necessary to be a gladiator. You have to be someone who draws the attention of the crowd. Uh, Maybe there's a special maneuver or a special magic flair that you do. You have to have some kind of performance or whatever. Yes, you could just murder kill people, but it might get kind of boring. You might have to do a cat and mouse thing, like literally keep the fight going instead of ending it too soon. Doing some you know, oh no, my paladin is about to smite kill the bad guy. We we got to let this go at least 6 rounds in order to get some extra points. So can I use my smite but only do like non-lethal damage on that last I did rolled 87 points of damage, you know, and they're like, yeah, good, that'll give them time to get back up again. And then King says, what are we playing, a horror game set in a cubicle? I could make Maximus for that. Why not? I don't know about that. I don't work in a cubicle. At least I work outside, so I like that part of my life. Not in the cubicle. Oh, when I Heathen brings up Flash Gordon, great movie. One of the best B movies ever, I think. Dive, Flash. Does that mean I'm a budding bad guy that I have no problems finding motivation for the bad guys in the scenario? Maybe. Although I would guess you're probably too smart to be criminal. That's the worst thing about being very intelligent. It's like you can think of all these really great criminalized ideas, and then you realize, yeah, the cost effect analysis of committing these crimes is pretty bad. That's why criminals get caught, right? Yep. I mean, the everything. If I wasn't doing this, I would be doing like movie and TV punditry, and I love the movie making, even the music industry and acting. I love how things are made because it takes a large number of people to bring something together to make a thing. And I also like the intricacies because sometimes people don't realize that like the actors and actresses we see are actually very small when it comes to seeing your great TV shows and movies. They're actually a small part. All they do is just show up and read lines and portray someone. All the hair and the makeup and the setting and the CGI and the costuming and the color saturation and the cinematographer and how much money they're given to, hey, we need to do this scene 15 times, but sunlight's leaving, we can only film this 6 times before we got to move on, or we only have enough money, we got to do this in one shot and be done, or it's about to rain and all that. Like, it can get pretty intricate to even film one scene. And we put a lot of pressure on the actors who are the face of it, but like in a gladiatorial combat, we see the gladiators. We don't see the training, how the arena is set up, how much money they get paid, who manipulates the numbers in the background against who fights who, and that kind of thing. And that could be very interesting as well, especially for player characters that don't want to be in the arena, which is probably going to be pretty rare. But they could be playing a game on the outside, literally and figuratively, as to um, who's altering the odds, where are the enemies coming from if they're not artificially created, who wants to participate. Maybe there are people who would want to, for example, like in MMA and boxing, there's some people who are lower on the card, but they want to fight the higher level people ranks just to get the attention in the first place. Like, oh, I know I'm going to get my ass beat. The troll's like, yeah, guys, okay, listen, there's no way I'm going to win against you guys. But if you just make me look good, I would. Oh man, I'd really so much, man. They start shaking hands and giving hugs. Like, man, I really love what you guys do. I mean, I heard about that time you did that beat down on that blue dragon down in the Southlands, and I really want to talk to you about it. But we're about to get up on into the arena, so just make me look good. I'm going to growl a little bit. I might try to bite you guys, and right, which would be pretty hilarious. When I Heathen says, if I was going to be in a gladiatorial arena campaign, I'd make some weird stereotypical nerd who, through magic or gadgetry, has a ridiculous amount of strength. Hell yeah. The undercard person, the person that steps into the arena who could barely lift the sword and's got a shield that's like dragging them along, and they're like, they can't fight. And then the nerd takes out just a little vial, puts a little drop under the tongue. Oh, okay. Doop, 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 puts it back in a little pouch, and all of a sudden they're just like roided out or something. Or they're the equivalent of, oh, you think I'm a fight fair? I'm a powerful ass wizard. I'm a badass wizard, as a matter of fact. Yep. Thomas Anderson says the name Maximus keeps initially reminding me of Maximilian, but not just any comes to mind. Specifically, the big red robot from the black hole. Oh, I just saw something about the black hole. Corridor Crew. They did a little, special effects and things. They were talking, and they brought up a image from the black hole. They didn't show Maximilian, but that was a very famous robot. I was very scared of that robot way back in the day. Didn't do much, but just looked scary as all hell, floating through the air. Um, pre pre Darth Vader, but had that Darth Vader Terminator ish thing to it. Drew says, in context of our hobby, there is also Slay Industries where characters can join the contract circuit, which pretty much is gladiatorial stuff. This old man has an original copy of Slay Industries. I call it Slay. SLA, Slay. I think it's pronounced Slay. But yeah, I've got one of the originals. It's all worn and stuff. I love the fact that inside the book, they have photocopiable sheets to sign contracts for like assassinations and murder and like gladiatorial combat circuits and things like that. Yeah, signing TV contracts and whatnot. Yeah, that would be pretty fun. As a matter of fact, you could have a ton of NPCs. Listen, we got to have the slimy NPCs that are always trying to who there's something grand about both having an NPC that is an ass kisser, like wants to suck up to the PCs all the time and is overly enthusiastic to ruin things for the player characters because they want to overproduce for the player characters. It's the classic cartoon. Hey boss, yeah, anything boss, anything you want to do boss, yeah boss, and the PCs might be like, oh fuck, just go away. Then you have the opposite, which is someone who's trying to always scam a copper piece or two out of the PC's pockets because no, I'm your manager, but I'm also your promoter, so I get another 5% for being your promoter, 10% for being your manager. Hey, you need a financial guy. It's going to 17% to be your financial guy. Also, because I'm your recruiter, that's 3% right there. I also do. After a while, you're like, wait a minute, you're getting 87% of my. What the hell? I'm like, hey, I got to wear a lot of hats. This is for you. This is all for you. Don't worry about it. There's going to be plenty, you know. TA says it also makes one realize that the average detective and police officer is not very bright, not very stupid. Thus, how many above average intellect murderers never even get detected in their prey uh, show up only as missing persons or words still missing with an example. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. Yes, yes. Most people are not as most above average intelligence individuals can kind of get away with a lot of stuff in society, a lot of things, a lot more than people think. So I think it's just that the majority of those very intelligent people also realize it's not worth it to do it, right? Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it's like robbing a bank or something. You would have to, like, if you robbed a bank, you really got away with a lot of money. You'd have to sit on that money for a long time before you could actually use it, and then you have to get rid of everybody you staged it with, right? Yeah. The N King says that entertainment factor is true in sports today. The UFC does not want to sign an incredible but boring fighter. That could apply to an adventurer too. Got to sell the sizzle to the clients. Hell yeah. I mean, and despite the fact that I'm sure you're going to get player characters who don't want to participate in that, there is you know in entertainment and sports entertainment. I'm going to call it sports entertainment because the reason why people who participate in sports get paid a lot of money isn't because of their skill. It's because them performing their job garners the attention of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of eyes. And contractually, they feel like they deserve a percentage of every person that pays to see them participate. So it's not because they're a great MMA fighter or a football player or American football player or whatever, or anything entertainment, an actor or something. It would behoove me to say I would like $1 American dollar for every person that comes into a theater or watches on television or pays pay-per-view or whatever that sees me because I want that. I want 50 cents from every person well, if you multiply that by 50 million people, you become pretty rich. That's how they're able to do it. Although you have to admit, um, we complain about the salaries of say sports people, but you got brain surgeons that aren't making 10% of that. But who's signing the checks for those people? You got to think for every sports baller that's getting paid $50 million, and you're going rolling your eyes like, oh, that's ridiculous. Someone is signing the checks of every single person on that team, and they are agreeing to it. So they could probably pay them more money than that if you think about it, right? I love the black hole. That weird movie. It ended pretty weird because we all had our imaginations of what a black hole is, but yeah, great movie. Oops. Um, where does it say? Did it show? Drew says, by the way, DBJ, I like your voice. It keeps your videos very appealing. I mean, there's a reason why we show up here 5 days a week to listen to you for an hour. Oh, I appreciate that. I don't watch my videos very often. Sometimes I'll listen because I know there's an intonation in my voice that I try to get rid of. We all do it. It's those little it's the filler things that we do with our when we talk, the ahs. Some people say like, some people say, you know what I'm saying. It's the filler things, and I try to get rid of them. And I used to stutter when I was much. It was psychological. I used to stutter very much, and I'm still a shy person. Really, I've just been fighting against it. And when I listen to myself, yeah, I hear this dead tone in my voice, and I hate it. Everyone's like that, right? Because I'm projecting out of my head, but if I flipped it around and listened to it, it's like, ooh, who's that guy? But yeah, the only reason that I do this kind of thing is because I feel very passionate about creativity, and I'm a very um, like at it like the gaming table is like pure creativity to me. And when I see other people doing it, like I get excited because of other people's enthusiasm, and it's like in a weird way, it's like a turn on for me. Like, I love to see other people. Like, I used to teach martial arts to kids, and when I see a kid, it dawns on them that they're better than they think they are. I'm like, oh hell yeah! Oh shit, I used turn on this. I didn't mean it that way, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's a feedback loop. It's like someone else is sparked, and I get sparked, and they get sparked, and I get sparked, and then so I have to portray it. So I don't think it's the tone of my voice. I hope it's the energy, but yeah, it's hard to fake it because I do feel it. I would love to be on like someone's podcast service or something, or like a participant in a multi world building thing with other people, but I don't know anybody that would tolerate me. So when I Heathen says idea, okay, let's say the arena is a pocket realm where contestants literally have to find each other, or contestants have to live entirely new lives, births and all, in another world and find each other. That's weird, but I like that. um like, an arena doesn't need to be an arena. An arena could be, oh no, you're, I don't know, you're on a plane of the abyss, you're in the astral realm, you're in a pocket dimension, you're in a, you know, any of those things. And oh, by the way, the participation in a thing, like like an actor portraying a person, maybe the player characters can't break to they can't break a role. They have to pretend like there's someone else and portray something. And then after 15 years, it ended. The PC's like, "How'd you guys like that?" And everyone's like, the two finger clap, optime, whatever that Latin term is or something. It's like, that was pretty good. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. And you're like, I spent 15 years pretending to be somebody, you mother. Which is kind of how actors get, right? They're like, I spent a year and a half, you know, I don't know, Tom Hanks or something. He's like, I lost 50 pounds to pretend to be some dude on a beach with a soccer ball named Wilson. And finally, 6 months after the movie's finished, not knowing what anybody thinks about it, suddenly the movie comes out and everyone's like, yeah, it was all right. You're like, you motherfuckers. uh that it's got to be nerve wracking, because for us, we think it's one and the same. Oh, person, entertainment person does a thing, and then they immediately see the results. Sports, you kind of see the immediate results. But I've even heard of like coaches getting pissed off. They're like, you know, the newscasters like, did you plan on losing today? And the coaches are like, you, no one plans on losing. It happens, right? How many different adjectives can we add to, yeah, my team played but lost? Uh, TA says that was Spider-Man's primary advantage in that larger foes always underestimated him, considering he could bench press like 40 tons under duress and 10 tons normally without even trying, but super skinny. Yeah, I love it when there were I remember as a kid, I remember an artist drew Spider-Man, and he teamed up with Captain America. It was one of these, it was like Spider-Man plus someone else. I forget what series it was. It was like Spectacular Spider-Man or something like that. Anyway, every comic was Spider-Man plus another character, and it was Spider-Man plus Captain America. And like, Spider-Man could very easily hide in Captain America's shadow, because Captain America's like 6.5 feet tall, all broad muscle and big shoulders. And they drew Spider-Man like this little kid. And I was like, that's exactly, he's not the same height. He's a scrawny kid that just happens to be able to bench press, like you said, like up to 40 tons. And Captain America's all like chiseled chin and it's like, hey kid, come here. And Spider-Man's hiding behind him like, yeah. Hi there, Mr. Rogers, sir. Yeah. When Heathen says the slimy NPCs, I suddenly imagine ooze tieflings that are talent agents, managers, promoters, etc. Yep. Yep, absolutely. Literally sleaze. That's hilarious. That would be very funny to have like a bunch of oozes with like fedora hats and stuff going, yeah, yeah, I can get that. Yeah, I can do this. Yep, tieflings and drow elves like all in the background, like rubbing their hands. The proverbial like worm tongue speaking in people's ears. Mm-mm. Yeah, I see you there, TA. Yeah, it's pretty. You said, sorry, I meant missing with excuses for why they are missing. Yep. Oh no, ran off to start a new life. No one bats an eye at the victim of the murder is actually just dead. Yep, 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 absolutely. Oh man, Hunt says so. We're talking about sports ball. So how about we take all the money we pay them and give them all to gladiators instead? Instead, provided they fight with sharp weapons and get limbs cut off every show. Hey, that's where a movie that does a movie that is too well made to be a B movie, but is actually far better than it deserved to be. Real Steel. Um, Real Steel, the movie based on the Rock'em Sock'em Robots, is a great movie, and it's it was based on people wanted to see more blood and gore in their gladiatorial arena, and instead robots could rip limbs off and things like that, and they had more personality. And it's the exact same way. How you would how would you add more personality into an arena when the PCs are just want to murder kill their enemy? I would say that they would have to earn points. That you would have to literally perform, whether it's the skill of performance or something, or how long you could let a combat go, or how much you can pretend to be down and then come back. You know, hey, the paladin got knocked down again and again, and the paladin's like, "Hey, dude, I'm just faking it." And the troll's like, "I got you." Shh, yeah. And the troll steps on his chest and is like, "Oh, I win!" And the paladin like suddenly gets up and he's got his hand out. He's like doing the I don't know, wrestling, fake shaking, like, "I'm back. The gods have spoken to me. I'm back." And the troll's like, yeah, dude, play it up." And the troll's like, "No, no, the light of goodness is forcing me back." Which would be hilarious with a troll pounding it out with the paladin at the end of the fight, like, "Dude, we got to do that again." And the paladin's like, "I still sense evil in you." And the troll's like, "I don't have a reason to be evil because I'm getting everything I want. I'm getting money. They're throwing chunks of meat down here with me. The ladies are throwing themselves at me, and everyone thinks that back in the day I was just making money off of toll bridges, living under toll bridges and stuff, extracting cash from billy goats. Now everybody loves me." I mean, which would be pretty interesting to have like gladiatorial arenas have like basically stopped evil incursions because they're like, what's so I could be on a battlefield and die and no one knows who the hell I am, or I can fight in an arena and have like a throng of onlookers and get paid and trash talk and be the badass. Of course, I'm going to be a hobgoblin gladiatorial or bugbear gladiatorial person, and I get to strangle people too when I feel like it. Sweet. Mm-mm. Shai says, and then we have grudge matches between two one-armed guys, one-legged guys. You're so silly. Then they will be worth every penny of the 10 plus million. Talking about those sports ballers. Hey, hey, so and so lost his leg to the other guy lost his leg. Now they're both hopping. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think if you paid someone enough money, they would get into a bloody sports match. I think today, absolutely. Listen, there's people. What's his name? The rap artist Takashi 6ix9ine tattooed 6 9s all over his face and body to get the attention of people, and his life. I mean, I don't know. Is he in his mid 20s and he's going to jail and all this kind of stuff? And there's people doing Instagramish bullshit for less. Murder, putting edged weapons into an arena and having people fight is not very far fetched. People did it back in the day; they'll do it today. Yeah. And Shice goes on and continues, says if they get cut in the throat too and it heals back up like that enemy in Highlander, holy shit, TBJ knows martial arts. Which ones? Any gladiator fights? I've played. Okay, I don't like to go into it. I still have my third degree black belt award. I've got them in my man cave, and I've got them up like first degree, second degree, third degree black belt and stuff like that. And Matsubiyashi Ryu. It's a Pine Forest system, Okinawan karate. But our school, we did the point of our school is we would always invite people that did other arts into the school to challenge ourselves. So I've got a mix of like eskrima and capoeira and taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. So I'm a polyglot of martial skill. Now, mind you, this the ASMR of patting my belly here. I've always been thick, but I probably put another 30 pounds on more than I was when I was at my peak doing martial arts and stuff. But yeah, I competed in the Arnold and all that kind of stuff. I got medals, two bronze and a gold. Juice's Pocket Dimension, where fighters meet. That sounds a little like League of Legends. Yep, back in the day. Of course, they have dropped so much world building on it by now that it's no longer the case. But yeah, like League of Legends, like two competitors meet, and maybe they have to bid on or pick, or it's random, and they just get beamed up somewhere, or portal opens, and they have to step into another place that has different. The laws of nature are strange. So not only do you have to battle each other, but it's zero gravity. It's on ice flows. It's on pieces of metal floating on a lava river or something, anything like that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Read a book where these AIs developed two different worlds to pit them against each other for spectators, and one picked the gods of Asgard, and the other picked the hordes of hell. Ooh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And AI starts raising the people so that they believe that they're under like they believe that they are raised under the culture of those aspects. I like that. Their skills and abilities were all based on technology, though. For some reason, it reminds me of like Walter John Williams or something. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Walter John Williams. The End King says, "Worm tongue, late is the hour." Yeah, Real Steel. Hugh Jackman. Huge Jackman. Yeah, he's in the movie, and he plays a real asshole in the beginning. I love it. He's really good at it, um, because he's an actor that has a lot of heart, and you need an empathetic person who to play an asshole in your movies, so they can really play up the assholeness of it, so that they become that person, right? You kind of need that. He's very good at that. I read about it at the time I read the Ronin book that was about an alien world with human colony on it, and a character that roamed using a sword. So the tech was sort of regressive for some reason. That I don't know. Ooh, what if the gods, in order to avoid the sheer destruction and death toll of holy wars, they have gladiatorial competitions? Yeah, that was mentioned at very in the beginning, and that's when I brought up RoboJocks. That the gladiatorial combat might not just be for ego and money and popularity and influence. It may literally be life and death. Like there's too many people dying. We need you, or we need to recruit competitors to participate, because this is how we settle laws. I mean, for example, uh, maybe there's a the people to the south are have had slavery ingrained into their culture, and the people to the north don't. And they're like, no, you need to change. And they're like, no, we're not going to change. And they say, okay, we'll have a competition. You want to you PCs, you want to free all of the enslaved people, you got to fight in the gladiatorial combat. That's how it gets done. We Everybody in this world agrees that if you want to change something, you want to enact a law, that thing becomes law, but you got to put your life on the line. And there's you can't skirt around it, you can't pretend it, you got to put your life on the line. And especially if the gods or powerful entities reinforce that, like, hey, oh, you're trying to hide slaves in the background, boom, big necrotic lightning bolt strikes. They try to do such a thing. Like there might be some real ramifications for breaking a law that was created by the gods or something. Or maybe it becomes retconned. Maybe it literally changes. Remember, we were talking about the elemental spheres. Maybe the elemental plane of fire, where there is the crucible of creation, where it's held. Not saying that that's true, but when a decree is enacted by the winners, it retcons reality backwards and forwards in time so that the thing never happened. Even though the competitors might remember it and everybody else doesn't remember it. What, the South? We never had enslaved individuals here. The PC's like, wait, what? Did we just win? Yeah, it must have. So it would take $10 million to fight a 6-inch tall mantis shrimp armed with nothing but a 12-inch dagger. Maybe, yeah, because that 6-inch mantis shrimp is going to punch a hole through your chest. Yeah, you just have to be in a tank with a mantis shrimp for 20 minutes. You're like, 20 minutes. Tentacle-like appendages of a fourth dimensional entity. Whole other world from them being picked up fourth dimensionally direction planes to that other world instantly. Yeah, why not? Maybe that's how Cthulhu, Lovecraftian creatures have been held at bay all this time. The PCs finally realized that it's been it's been fighting in almost like a gladiatorial Lovecraftian Cthulhu like maelstrom of insanity. And as long as humanity, volunteers their greatest and brightest and most mentally strongest to fight them off, they'll stay away. But and the portal might only, it's like there's literally one portal and you've got to stand against the enemy. Yep. The evil comes from the fact that I want to do this again because I am getting what I want. Sate that and stop taking what I want. I could see two ways of thinking about that. One could be that okay, for example, human beings, we've domesticated felines and lupines, right? And a lot of dangerous animals don't are not bloodthirsty and dangerous because their hunger is satiated, right? It's my my cats relax because I feed them. It's not that they're good, and they're not stopped because they're evil. They're just not bloodthirsty. Maybe there are bloodthirsty animals and monsters and entities in Dungeons and Dragons that would love to be in a gladiatorial arena. It's like, no, I don't want to go out in the wild wilderness and kill people, but that's how else am I supposed to eat human flesh, right? And the ghouls are like, yeah, it, yeah, maybe if we're in the arena, we get to do what we want. What would be the point of us going after innocent people when we get to do this every day, or whatever, periodically or something, right? So yeah, it might, maybe someone has a very domesticated pet chimera because the chimera gets to blast fire and eat human beings and stuff, and after it's done, it's like it's like an alligator. It's like, yo, I'm just gonna roll over my back and just relax here. Thanks, guys. Yeah, yeah, they poke me with sticks every once in a while, but it doesn't feel pretty good. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Before they had begun to see, they could use them to teleport from place to place in the world, but the nodes of the prison interfere with exact placement. You're taking this. You're weaving a world of fourth dimensionality, space and time, which we who knows where these combats happen and how people are able to see them too. Like, is the population able to see the battles that the PCs go through? Like, could you imagine a dungeon, a real dungeon, like rooms and 10-foot hallways and traps that spectators can see the PCs go through, much like the Dungeons and Dragons movie? Hey, it's Tomb of Horrors, and the population is like, oh, our favorite heroes are in there. Did they just get their sex changed? Which is a room in the Tomb of Horrors, which for some reason back in the day was a real punishment. I don't know why it would be a punishment today. But whatever the case may be. Well, it would be a punishment for me if I looked the same, I think. No, it wouldn't. I think I'd be all right. Give me some curves. That's all I ask. But yeah, it could be like I don't know. There's a crystal ball, scrying, evil eye. I don't know what the case might be, but some way some way for spectators to see the PCs go through a dungeon and go, oh, they skipped that trap. Wow. Much like on television where we get to see the answer to a question on a game show, but the contestants don't. Yeah. The End King says gladiator fights preventing invasions and incursions. We're talking about Mortal Kombat. Hell yeah. Of course we're talking about Mortal Kombat, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, player characters. That evil incursion, you could stop that literally by fighting in the arena against I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other big bads, like the Lich and some of its greatest lieutenants or something like that. And the Lich is like, yeah. At the end of like 2 rounds of combat, the Lich sits down in a chair, and everyone's like, and like spitting in a bucket and stuff. And it got like a Rakshasa, you know, um, a coach is like, all right, you've got him on the ropes. Now you listen, use that power word kill and use that extra bonus action for that cantrip. You got this. And the Lich is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Trying to pick up its broken teeth and put it back into its undead face. Like, damn it. It took out my tooth. mm, I don't. TV show where the dad was equipped with the pistol shrimp explosion abilities. What are you talking about? Oh, oh, oh. Here we go. Drew says polymath, not polygon. Yes. Poly skilled. I don't know what that means. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Shai says, glad you're realistic about modern day fight to death to the death gladiators. Most are in denial that a bajillion guys would jump at the chance to do that in our polite modern day civilized society. Oh no, no, no. Oh, listen, listen, I might be tempted with enough if you here's the thing. I would like to think of myself uh as an upstanding, moral, and ethical individual who there are lines I would not cross. And I do believe there are lines that I would not cross for any amount of money. This that you could probably one hand find those things. There's enough zeros where you could probably convince me to do a thing. It's sad too, because I would like to think that I'm better than I am, and most people think we're better than we are, but we're not. We're pretty mercenary. If you add enough dollars, it's the let me get squirrely here. All the internet forums in the tabletop role playing community complain about um, the career of being a paid DM. And I challenge you, you add enough zeros, you too would be a paid DM. Ask any of those people. It ain't doing it. It's the fact that you're not getting paid to do it. But I guarantee you, you get enough people to tell you people to stroke your ego, tell you that you're the greatest world builder and DM in the world, and you add an extra zero and an extra zero and an extra zero to the fee that you would charge. Oh yeah, you'd be a paid DM. It's how much money and who you would hire. Who would you have pay you to do a thing? $50, $100 American, 1,000. $10,000. How about $100,000 to run a game for? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially if somebody tells you you're that good, and you're looking around like I can't because entertainment, sports, acting, music, and everything. A lot of those individuals suffer from what's the what imposter syndrome. Many of them suffer from imposter syndrome because they're just regular people. They just happen to be placed on a large pedestal by other people sometimes, and many of them have imposter syndrome, and that's why they suffer nervous breakdowns and strange behaviors because they're like, listen, I just play a guitar and sing some songs, and now I'm filling arenas and everyone's going screaming. There's literally security to keep people in the front row from passing out because I play a guitar and sing some songs that I used to do in my garage when people thought I was an idiot, right? So yeah, yeah. Zamar says it's called Blood for Blood Suaria. I didn't know that. TA says, I thought he was making a joke saying polyglot, as in glutton, yeah, for absorbing any and all skills he get because he loved the whole process. I do. I love martial arts. I want to do a week of I I don't know if YouTube will shut me down by playing live clips of different types of ancient martial arts that you guys might know about, but I want to show some off too. I love it. When I Heathen says, I think it was Sweden and Russia that fought a battle in a frozen lake. That would be sweet to emulate in a role playing game. That's why I love the environment. To have a battle in a frozen lake and have that lake start to crack. Shai says, by the way, does having a bit of a belly actually prevent you from kicking major ass? Not particularly. And I learned in Okinawan martial art, which is the the practitioners tend to be shorter and squatter, like wider. Actually, the thing that holds you back most of the time, weight is actually more important than people think. So when it comes to martial arts, it's because it's about center of gravity. I'm difficult to pick up and throw, but my limbs aren't very long, so I have a hard time like grappling people intricately. So I use my lower weight and and such. It's science. It's street sport and science is martial arts, and just knowing the difference between the three. Yeah, it's in the boiler room. Okay, Drew says I like Hugh Jackman, even though I think he is not Wolverine. What? Really, Drew? We don't use that kind of language here. Wow. Oh no, that's a Freudian slip. That's on purpose. He's a huge Jackman. but no. But in all honesty, yeah, I don't mind him being Wolverine. I know Wolverine's is short and blah blah blah. Yeah, but better to get the best actor. The rest will fall into place. There's no other actor, I think, at the time that he was found that would have portrayed the character as well as he did. The side effect is that he just happens to be very tall. Wait, what if costume changes are how you got classes and costume additions how you get more abilities? So, what happens if you go to change your costume and only half put on your plate mail, but you have your wizard robe underneath it because you forgot to rip it off because someone behind stage didn't get it right? You're like, I get half of one. When I hear this says, "Oh, I love the idea of retconning reality." What about whoever wins gets to change the nature of the material plane to their will? See, I like that. I like the idea of like literally playing for gladiatorial combat to compete for reality itself, especially if you can shape it the way you want. Yeah, that would be what a strange world building setting to allow your players to literally change its history or its background or its very nature. Oh, it's acid rain all the time. Really? Why? Because the Grand Troll won or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden, it's been acid raining for years now, and the PCs are like, really? Yeah, remember that mountain range over there? Yeah, it's all pitted from the acid rains that happen every couple of days, and after it rains, there's like noxious fumes that rise up from the ground like evaporation or something. And like, damn it, he ruined the world. We have to have another combat, another battle to change this again. Just came up with a character idea, a rich ass scorpion man gladiator who's kind of washed up and their endorsements are all drying up. So that's why they joined the adventuring party. Endorsements, oh shit. Stickers all over the plate mail. Carrying a banner that's got like nothing but like stitched in logos to it. Oh man, the wizard that has to like cast a spell, but part of their like verbal components is they have to do a shout out to like I don't know, Blue Apron or Manscaped or something like that. I'm about to cast a magic missile, but there's what else is magic? Dude, the lawnmower 4.0 and the ball cream. Oh shit. Oh, yeah, yeah, you're right, Z. It says it was a punishment in OD&D, yep, because it would change your stats when you had a different character class and stuff. And in AD&D because of stat minimums for classes. Yeah, it's not a punishment now because these things are gone. Yep, because there were certain stat minimums, and if you were certain races, your stats could only go so high or wouldn't drop below a certain level and stuff. Yeah, that was back in the day. Now I don't mind it being gone, but I wish there was more. I wish there were more penalties in built into the game, at least optionally. Um, but oh well. In the TV show, it was about superheroes that had powers that came from various organisms on Earth. That sounds like a whole other thing. I like that. Oh no, Samara. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Talking about um uh okay, so for those who don't know, there was literally a cursed magic item back in AD&D called the Girdle of Sex Change. I think it was called or something. And in the Tomb of Horrors, there's a room that you go into that changes the sex of your character. And there was a punishment back in the day because if your if your gender changed, your stats would change because there were maximums and minimums and things, basically maximums based on your gender, also based on your size and race and things like that. So Zamar says, but with the inclusion of gender exclusionary magic items, it will become a punishment again. Your sword stops shooting balls of fire for you because it refuses to sit for a broad. Could you imagine the magic sword is like, uh-uh. And she's like, but you would fight for me. And you were paladin before. Now, damn it. You can't grab me. It's all sausage fest here. Yeah, not from you girls. I hated that. That's so stupid. A real man is not influenced by anything else outside of themselves. Real men aren't scared of things like that. I kind of hate the whole manosphere thing. I hate all of it. I hate the whole gender fighting thing. It's stupid because there's no. It's all negative dopamine hits. I hate negative dopamine hits. Problem is, there's so many of these TV shows after Heroes. The TV show, you mean oh, Heroes, the TV show? Yes, I remember that. We got a bunch like Powers, which I didn't watch Powers. I remember watching Heroes. It had 4 seasons. Tons of legacy comic superheroes like Green Arrow, etc. So it's hard to keep them separate. The TV show Heroes, the first season was sweet, and I think it was like first and third or first and fourth or something. But it was one of those impossible. They created an impossible scenario syndrome where a writer puts something in there and realizes they can't write themselves out of it. Having a character that can have any other superpower is just stupid. It's dumb because then you end up having to figure out how the character can't do a thing. It's the reason why there's not very many really good Superman stories because I could write 10 great Batman stories before I come up with one really good Superman story. When you have a character that can do anything, it's stupid. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, or a white knighting cloak of protection that goes out of its way to protect a lady, but not a dude. Yep. I've We used to have fun with that back in the day in my old group back in Philly. Like uh there was an adventure in a castle and it was these people were slaughtered during a wedding and they came back as ghosts and things like that. And they found the wedding rings were like these magical rings, but the lady's wedding dress was like a wedding dress of protection. And one of the characters decided to wear it. A big buff dude is like, I don't care, I'll wear a wedding dress. And everywhere he went, people were like making fun of him, and we were just like, we had the time of our lives. It was so funny. It was. I mean, we would draw pictures and cut things out of magazines and put like you get like a wrestling or weightlifting magazine, and we cut the arms off and attach it to one of those like wedding magazines and put his head on top of it and stuff. It was hilarious. Um, but he was proud of it. It was like a robe of protection +4 or something like that. And he's like, I'm wearing it. I don't care what people say. It was fun. But he was really fun at like tea parties and stuff too. He was just like, I'm going with the ladies. Screw you guys. Tia says, I would be willing to charge for DMing if the game I put on was so good that spectators had fun watching the players playing the game. Otherwise, I could only see, hawking merch like Game System or something. Yeah. Well, see, that's the point, right? Like, it's it's imposter syndrome. Like, hell, what is it? Matt Mercer and their whole crew, do they suffer from imposter syndrome? Probably a little bit, because so many people have put them up on such a high pedestal. It's like, dude, we're just playing some role-playing games and we're trying to make some cash in Hollywood, right? Like, we're voice actors and stuff. We're kind of the bottom of the totem pole in Hollywood, and you guys are trying to put us up on such a high pedestal. It's really weird that people do that too. Which is another thing that's a very storytelling gladiatorial thing, is average individuals being made into gods. There are people who have talents, and then the population, it gets to the point where some people garner so much positive attention that a whole faction of negative attention people start to exist because of the inordinate amount of positive attention some average person does, who just happens to be good at playing a flute or balancing on one hand, or um, doing backflips over 3 moving automobiles or something like that, right? Like, you get into an MMA fighter, and they're like, dude, I'd be fighting like this without spectators in back alleys. Yeah. And now they're making like, $500,000 purses fighting in arenas with I don't know, groupies hanging outside their hotel rooms and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, find me an artist that doesn't doubt their skills, and I will show you an artist who rarely practices their craft. Yep, real artists actually are never done. To be honest with you, the guitarist is never done learning. The singer that's like, my voice could be better. The athlete that's like, I need to keep practicing because I'm not good enough. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I run my games for free because I want to share my entertainment with others, or what I find entertaining. Yeah. But I, yeah. Shai says, DBJ, too many people have gotten their channels completely shut down by using copyrighted material. It happened to Sleazy P Martini. No, um, the channel. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, getting shut down by copyright material. That's why I tend not to do that. Um, music and all that kind of stuff. I try not to do that. Most of this, if I share something, I usually just Google it so that it comes across as a I'm doing it for entertainment and educational purposes. So I can at least fight back against that. That's why, like, you'll see me go, oh, let me search for that, and then whatever shows up, whether it's an ad or a pop up or something like that, I don't have control over it, but I'm not specifically targeting it. It just happens to be there, and I'm sure YouTube is like, oh, he's doing it for entertainment purposes, entertainment and educational purposes. Yeah, yeah. Talking about martial arts. Weight ensures you can push through on a poke, like when punching at someone, because you are then injecting all of this power from his arm into his fist and the body. Yeah, striking someone. That's exactly what it is. It's just uh, if you know how to use your hips and you use your core accelerates your limbs. So when you see people punching, a person who can punch really well, if you were able to slow it down, you would see their hip move first, or their feet grounded. Their feet get planted, their hip moves, and then their limbs flick after that. Or they'll start to spin. So it's with kicks, you'll see like different types of kicks where a person will generate centrifugal force. They'll twist, and you'll see their hips twist, and they'll cock their leg or their arm, and then spin out from it. Mm-mm. Drew says, I've run plenty of games for free in stores and at conventions. I just want my games to be more of an art than mere entertainment. Exactly, but I think I could add enough zeros to get you to do it. And sure, if people would pay me as an artist to run games, then I would take money. But I have the feeling that people look mostly at paid DMing as entertainment, and today it is. It definitely is, right? Um, uh, because most streamed games don't run the way the game intended the game to be played, because it's being done for entertainment, because lots of people don't consider the minutia of the rules of a game to be entertaining. So when I hear this, I have to leave, but it's 4 a.m. here. Putting down the cat. Hey, have a great one. Have a great one there. Yeah, they also suffer. Yeah, yep. That was that was a writer strike then too. Yeah, Zamar says, I guess you're talking about Heroes. Yeah, they also suffered from their second season being made during the writer strike back then, and the third season suffered from the canon of the second season. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zamar says real men wear dresses of gender protection. Oh my god. I don't see the I hate all the gender. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah, Drew says there was a White Wolf Street Fighter game. There sure was. Sure did. I had that game and I sold it. It's hard to find it. White Wolf Street Fighter. Let's see if we can find this here. Wikipedia Street Fighter RPG write ups. Let's see. White Wolf Wiki Street Fighter the storytelling game. Amazon. Ooh, let's see if we could find it. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna say. I gotta share this out, because I'm not gonna tell you um how much this is. I'm gonna let you guys guess. So if and this is just off of Amazon, at least here in the states, how much do you think the White Wolf Street Fighter game is? Anyway, time's up. Remember, love with your heart, and for all else, pull the chair from under the ring. Yeah. Oh, funny. Yeah, it would be cool if you showed some martial arts and did commentary, but showing entire video clips is risky. But at least you are not on their radar for saying politically incorrect shit. I say it all the time. And there's like behind the scenes, there's a little clip like check marks you have to say for like not for children. I do that all the time. And I'm so small, YouTube is not even bothering to like monitor me. If I was in like the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, I would probably be getting dinged. But yeah. Um, the game has to be entertaining, but not to an audience, but rather to the game master and the players. As long as those playing the game are having fun, that is all that matters. I agree. So, lastly, I'm just going to put this out here. Street Fighter, let's see if I can make this a little better. Street Fighter, the storytelling game, and this game. Let's move this up just a little bit here. $80 used from $75 and two collectible from $120. And it's based off of the White Wolf game engine back in the day. This book, over 100 special combat powers and martial arts techniques, some never seen in the arcade game, complete stats and expanded background information for the world warriors such as Blanca, Guile, Ken, and the new challengers like Cammy and DJ. Fast-paced combat rules allow you to hold Street Fighter tournaments and brawls with a dozen or more Street Fighters battling out at the same time. That is crazy. And nope, another tabletop role playing. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, Published December 1st, 1995. 184 pages. Yeah, 8.5 by 11. Number 80 in the world of Darkness General. Yeah, it's a pretty rare. It's a rare find. I don't. It didn't. It used a good but strange rule set to come across for this thing. There it is. Street Fighter, the storytelling game. Oof. Right in the oof. A little too close for comfort. Who's that in the background? Oof. Oof. Anyway, let's go back. Let's get this started. Oops. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. What is he? All right, guys. I took too much of your time. Anyway, we're going to continue to talk about this. I think tomorrow is we're going to talk about ballads and stories. We're also going to talk about this week. We're talking about entertainment, about music and dance, and how we can use that for our storytelling game. So, if you're interested in this kind of talk and this world building and freeformish podcast that's completely unscripted, please like, share, subscribe, give a thumbs up, share it with everybody, join the Discord, things like that. Yeah, exactly. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. I remember Amazon when they were just a bookseller. I remember that too. Ta it says, "Yeah, wow. I used Amazon for years before using it for what it started out as, book selling, and then only twice. One was God Bless Pawnbrokers, and the other was the Science of Herbal Medicine. Kind of seen that one. Yes, we're going to do a day of dance. Absolutely. Says, okay, so tomorrow ballads about gladiating 6 foot tall mantis just for $10 million. Yeah, we will sing along tomorrow. Guys, have a great one. Everyone have a great day. Thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. And I am out. Peace.